Everyone, and welcome to the Healing Through Action Youth Conference. I'm so excited to be here, and I know today's show is going to be amazing. Thank you all so much for joining. I see that there's a lot of people in the crowd today, and just thank you all. Today's show is going to be amazing, so stay tuned. First, we're going to start off by giving some introductions. My name is Jamira Queen. I'm a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador, a recent graduate of the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, Go Poly, and I will be attending Bowie State University in the fall of 2021, majoring in social work. So to all the social workers in the chat, I'm right behind you, and I'm ready to save the community through the lens of mental health. Naeem, feel free to introduce yourself. Naeem, are you still with me? Well, we're going to introduce the second host today, which is Naeem Adams. He is a Heart Smiles Heartbeat Healing Youth Alliance ambassador of Cohort 2 and from a John Hopkins Heart Smiles Youth Advisory Board ambassador. Thank you all so much, and just stay tuned today for today's show. But first, we're going to start off by giving shout outs to our support system of the Healing Youth Alliance. Throughout the time of the Healing Youth Alliance, since starting in March 2020, we have had amazing support systems. And the key support system was the Black Mental Health Alliance. The Black Mental Health Alliance has provided us with a support that is outside of this world. And the Black Mental Health Alliance is the reason that we're here today, because understanding mental health is one thing, but understanding Black mental health is a whole different thing. And thank you so much to Mr. Richero and Miss Nia Jones for your amazing support. Thank you all so much. And along with the Black Mental Health Alliance, Heart Smiles has been a huge support in the Healing Youth Alliance. Each and every heartbeat that you all will meet today in Healing Youth Alliance ambassador is a Heart Smiles heartbeat. Heart Smiles is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the health, wellness, and overall well-being of youth across Baltimore City. And I just want to thank you to Miss Joni, Miss Morgan Prelude for being the executive director and just supporting youth throughout Baltimore City and just dedicating your passion to your everyday work. Thank you all so much. Yes, thank you. All right. And we're also would like to give a huge appreciation to the University of Maryland School of Social Work. The University of Maryland School of Social Work is a huge reason why we're here today. The University of Maryland School of Social Work has set the tone and the foundation to why the Healing Youth Alliance is an organization today. We want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Kyla Liggett-Creel, who is our founder of the Healing Youth Alliance. Without Dr. K, we would not have been here today. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Dr. K for just being there for each and every Healing Youth Alliance ambassador. Thank you so much, Dr. K. We appreciate you. Thank you. And along with the University of Maryland School of Social Work and the support that they have given us, they have also provided us with student interns. The student interns were our mentors throughout the Healing Youth Alliance. And we have Miss Andy Tompkins, Miss Sharon Melvin, Miss Ursula, and Miss Ariana. These mentors have dedicated their time to supporting the Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors of Cohort 2 throughout becoming Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors. And we want to say thank you all so much for your support and your dedication towards the community. Thank you all. All right. And before we get started, we have to tell you why we're here today. The Healing Youth Alliance Cohort 1 was the first ever cohort of the Healing Youth Alliance, and they have set the tone to what it means to become a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador. And we want to say thank you all so much. And so you know that Healing Youth Alliance cohort 1 is my cohort. So we always represent, and now we're able to show what it means to be a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador. And I want to say thank you to Lamar Hill, Camry Moses, Taylor Clinton, and Deaubrey Lewis, young elder as well. You all are amazing, and thank you for setting the tone to what it means to be a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador and a youth in Baltimore City who is dedicating their life to making change in the city. Thank you all so much. And thank you to myself as well, because I am a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador, proudly, of course. Yes. Yes, represent cohort 1. Yes. All right. Along with the many support system that we have had with the Healing Youth Alliance, there has been many sponsors throughout this time of becoming Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors. I would like to give a huge thank you to our fiscal sponsors for this evening, which are Baltimore City's Health Department, the Baltimore County Foundation, and B City, which is Baltimore City Intergenerational Initiative for Trauma and Youth. Thank you all so much for your work that you all do and with the community organizations like the Healing Youth Alliance. Your sponsorships has never been not appreciated. We appreciate you all so much for supporting us and just allowing us to have a program such as the Healing Youth Alliance. Thank you all so much. The Healing Youth. All right. Along with many supports that we have at the Healing Youth Alliance, we would like to give a word of gratitude to the health department. The health department, the mayor's office, and Healing City, Baltimore. Thank you all so much for your work that you do in the community, and thank you all for the support that you give us every day. Thank you to Mayor Brandon Scott, Ms. Tisha Edwards, the director of the Mayor's Office, Children and Family Help. Thank you to Mr. Zeke Cohen, Ms. Ann Coy, and Mr. William Kelligrew. I can faithfully say that I've worked with each and every one of you all on a project dedicated to Baltimore City, and I love to see the work that you all have done in the community, and just to see that you all are as active, see that what you are doing in the community each and every day is just amazing. And I'm thankful to say that I am able to work with you guys in changing Baltimore City. Thank you all so much. Before we get started today, we would like to give a history of what the Healing Youth Alliance is. The Healing Youth Alliance started in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we battled many different issues, and especially me. I know I became a little bit of depressed in the COVID-19 pandemic, a little bit a mixture of just happy and just off and on, having many different emotions. But as a collective, I can definitely say the world was in shock, and we all needed some kind of support on our mental health. So why not starting a program for mental health dedicated to youth in Baltimore City and the support system that we have as youth. So last but not least, the Healing Youth Alliance was founded in March 2020. The first cohort, which is my cohort, started in May 2020, and with 24 weeks of training with the professors from the University of Maryland School of Social Work and the Black Mental Health Alliance. They have trained us and worked with us each and every day on PowerPoint design, web design, and just understanding what it means to be a mental health advocate and understanding what mental health is. And I want to say thank you all so much for your support again, because without that 24 weeks of training, we would not be able to be here today giving you all presentations. And I want to say thank you all so much. The first conference was held on November 19, 2020, which was the first inauguration of Cohort 1 ambassadors. And that conference included 655 participants, which is amazing to have for the introduction of the Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors. And we had an amazing inauguration event, so amazing that 100% of people reported that they would like to come back to future Healing Youth Alliance presentation. So thank you all so much. And if you all are here today, thank you for sticking up to us since day one and just supporting us. I can see a few of you all in the chat right now. Thank you all so much for supporting us since day one, and continue to support us as we introduce the next cohort ambassadors. To get started, we would like to tell you all about the future of Healing Youth Alliance. Here's a short video from Mayor Brandon Scott. We would like to thank you, Mr. Brandon Scott, for your message towards the Healing Youth Alliance and just everyone who is dedicated to making a huge change into the youth of Baltimore City, whether it be mental health, wellness, trauma-informed care, and everything. Mr. Brandon Scott, I remember meeting you at the Youth Town Hall event that I hosted in 2019 before COVID was even a thing. You told me that you were dedicated towards the city because you came from the city. You went to Baltimore City Public Schools and you know what it means to live. You know what it meant to live in the city. And you told me that you were dedicated to making change. I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little bit nervous about maybe, it may not work out because a lot of politicians and everyone don't kind of break their promises. But I can definitely say, Mr. Brandon Scott, it just brings tears to my eyes sometimes to see the amazing work you've done. And so far in the community, I can definitely say I've saw you at each and every event, and you're a stand-up man and you're a man of your word. And I want to say thank you all. Thank you so much to Mr. Brandon Scott. Thank you for your kind words to the Healing Youth Alliance as well. And to get started today, we would like to introduce the reason why you're here today, which is the Cohort 2 ambassadors. The Cohort 2 Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors have worked extremely hard to get to here we are today. And I want you all to know that you need to be prepared and y'all have to watch out when they're introducing themselves because y'all are going to meet some amazing youth today. And there are some really, really beautiful faces in the audience. So please stay tuned. And remember that there will be a link in the chat box so you all can move on to any presentation that you would like to view today. So please be mindful when they're introducing themselves so you can know which presentation that you would like to attend. First, we're going to start off by giving an introduction to the guys who will be presenting Black men and mental health. To Shalard Johnson and James Gaither. They always bring it. Shalard is my big brother and James is my big brother as well. And I love you all so much. And I'm just ready for your words, your kind words today.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Gaither. I am 19 years old. I am a higher ambassador. I also am on the Youth Advisory Board. And me and my partner, Shalard Johnson, today, we're going to be presenting about Black mental health within the Black men.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Shalard Johnson. I am a 19-year-old sophomore at Shawan University. I'm also a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador, also a Heart Smiles Heartbeat with a mentor and the head coach at Matthew A. Henson basketball team. Today, me and my partner are going to be talking about the mental health in Black men, and we want you guys to come to our room because we feel as though that mental health in Black men doesn't get talked about a lot. So come to our room, and I promise you'll have the best time of your life.
I know that's right.
I know it's right too. I feel y'all on that one because Black mental health and Black men is a whole different ballgame and it does not get talked about enough. But I'm going to pass it right over to the next group of Cohort 2 ambassadors. I don't know about y'all, but I think Shalard and James might have it. But we're going to give a quick introduction to the presentation topic of historical trauma by my friend Lene Williams and Sade Parham. Feel free to introduce yourself, ladies. I know you are going to be doing amazing today.
What's good? What's good? What's good? How y'all feeling? How's everyone feeling today? Me and my partner, Sade, will be talking about historical trauma in the Black community. But let me introduce myself. To y'all. My name is Lene Williams, or Lene the Activist. As y'all know me, you feel me? I am a youth activist, advocate. We are now a higher ambassadors. I am on the YAP team, the Youth Advisory Board for John Hopkins. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And
hey y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. I was having a little bit of issues. I'm back.
Yes. Thank you all so much, Sade and Lene, for those amazing introductions. I'm so excited to hear all about your presentation. And I know one thing about Lene and Sade, they're always going to bring the heat. And Lene, they call her the activist herself because she always brings it. And I'm so excited for you all's presentation. But without further ado, we're going to get right started into the next group of Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors. Next, we have Zion Pittman and Kennedy Caldwell presenting the topic of healing centered engagement. Zion, please feel free to introduce yourself, the amazing queen that you are. Come on, Zion.
Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing great today because I know I am. I'm super excited to be presenting to you today. Just to give a little information about myself, my name is Zion Pittman. I'm 16 years old and I'm an uprising junior at Western High School. I'm the president of the Youth Advisory Board at Johns Hopkins, Healing Youth Alliance ambassador, and also the CEO and founder of Accessories by Kai. I'm going to be presenting to you healing our trauma, because there's a lot of things that we grew up and living up in Baltimore City, with having lack of resources, growing up in poverty, witnessing substance abuse and different things. And as a community, we need to heal. So that's what we're going to do, and that's why you should come to my presentation so we can learn how to heal as a community. Thank y'all.
Yes, Zion, you got me smiling ear to ear. See, Zion, she represents for Western Doves out there. Any Western Doves, spam the chat because I know you all always bring it. And thank you, Zion, for always holding your own and for always standing up. I've been watching you since day one before I even joined Heart Smiles, and you've always been a leader. So I think you all should definitely go support Zion in her presentations today of healing-centered engagement. And next, we're going to get right into the next group of Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors. We have the amazing Lyrical J. Lyrical J, can you get on this camera and get a typed up 1 second? Come on.
Man, what? How y'all feeling? I'm Samaj Pryor. Come to my room because it's going to be fire. We going to talk about incarceration. I'm giving y'all facts and I'm not playing. And that's exactly why they call me Lyrical J. I'm working by myself, so you know I'm the one. Come through.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, Jay. Thank you so much, Jay. And I know Jay's presentation is going to be amazing. And stay tuned to her presentation because she might end up spitting a little something for y'all. She just might. And I'm gonna let y'all know. Jay, she always bring it. But we're gonna give a quick introduction to the amazing next cohort 2 ambassadors, Sydney Johnson and Gemma Chester, presenting the topic of healing the past to save our future. Hey, Gemma. How are you, girl?
Hey, Jamira. Oh my gosh, yo, I'm so excited. I'm too excited. Now, look, I can't promise y'all no rap, no performance. I'm not a rapper like Lyrical J. So what I can promise y'all is that we got a top tier presentation for y'all. Information on top of information, just facts on top of facts. But we also going to have some fun. So definitely stay here at home base to see me and Cindy present about healing the past to save our future. I would love to see y'all. I'm going to pass it to Sid.
Hey everyone, my name is Sydney Johnson. I've been looking forward to this conversation all day. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm 16 years old. I'm a rising junior at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. And I'm just so excited to have this conversation tonight about how the past really affects our future. Come join with us today to learn how we can heal from the past.
Yes, thank you so much, Sydney and Gemma. And remember what Gemma said. If you would like to view their presentation today, stay at home base because I know they're always going to show out. That's one thing. They never mess up. They show out each and every time. Thank you all so much. But without further ado, we're going to get right into it. Just to you all that the Google Doc for each presentation link today will be in the chat box. So please feel free to choose your presentation topic right now. And remember that you can move on to different rooms to check out different presentations. But if you would like to view Sydney and Gemma's presentation, stay in this home base Zoom link. And remember that we will all rejoin together at the end of each presentation. So don't leave just yet because we have an amazing surprise for you. So come back to the main room once each presentation is over. And do not forget to fill out your survey link to give us feedback on the Healing Youth Alliance. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your day because I know I will.
Good evening, y'all. I'm so glad to see so many of y'all here at home base. The top tier presentation. Excited to present to y'all tonight. Like we said before, we're going to be presenting to y'all about healing the past to save our future. And I'm just going to introduce myself because I ain't give y'all much about me when I first introduced myself. But my name again is Gemma Chester. I'm 16 years old, currently a rising junior at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I'm a youth advocate and leader working with organizations such as Heart Smiles, the Healing Youth Alliance Ambassador, of course, working with the Junior States Attorneys Program, and so much more, just trying to change my city and heal the youth. So without further ado, I'll pass it again to Sydney.
Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Sydney Johnson. I'm a self-care, self-confidence, and self-love influencer, and I'm also a youth advocate, a Heart Smiles Heartbeat, and a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador. And we also run a partner business, me and Gemma, called the Service Sisters. But I am also just so grateful and, just so excited to have this conversation with you guys today. We've been working on this for so long, so let's get straight into it.
Yeah, so without further ado, we're going to start with the overview for today to jump us off. The overview will be up just in a second, having a little bit of technical difficulties. But I want y'all to get active in the chat real quick and tell me what y'all expecting from this presentation. I want y'all to drop a couple words or just express how excited you are about this topic. You might even, I want to tell y'all, I want to challenge y'all. I want y'all to shoot some guesses out about some topics that we might be talking about in this presentation. But yeah, while y'all do that, we're going to get into the overview because now it's up. So for the overview for today, we're going to give y'all some solutions and discussions at the end, after we talk about the effects of slavery, after we get into the results of racism and the history of America on and the history of America on the mental health of African Americans. But first, we're going to get into Sydney's facts about the African American community.
So these right here are just some mind-blowing facts that really stood out to me that I felt was essential to include in this presentation. These are just things that I found out and I was like, wow, like Gemma, like listen, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that doesn't know this. So did you know that the first government-operated African-American program to impact the American family was slavery? When I first heard this, I thought, oh, maybe Section 8, Obamacare, something like that. But when they said slavery, I was like, wow, like that is crazy. Secondly, 7 million African Americans reported mental health problems this year. Now that's reported as the key word. Just imagine how many people are going along undiagnosed. Even me and you might know. I know everybody here knows somebody that's walking around undiagnosed with some mental health issues. It's very common in the African American community. Third, pure anger is a very missed symptom of depression. Now, if you ask somebody, what's some symptoms of depression? Everyone's going to say loss of appetite, sadness, and things like that. But pure anger and rage is often very missed when it comes to the symptoms of depression. And the last thing, no, not the last thing, last but not least, Black codes. What are Black codes? We're going to talk about this later on in the presentation. But Black codes were basically laws designed to keep our people, Black people, incarcerated after slavery ended. So things like walking along the same side of the street as white people, or whistling at them, or drinking off the same water fountains, things that were all designed to keep our people incarcerated. And last but not least, the updated time that George Floyd was held down by the police has now been determined of 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So stick through this presentation to see why this is so important to what we're about to discuss.
Definitely. And I love when Sid talk, y'all. She gonna hit y'all with some real facts tonight. But we want to get into this quote by Julia Densmore. It's from her book, My Name is Child of God. And you can see the title there. But the quote reads, "Poverty has long arms that reach through generations of people, leaving telltale bruise marks on its victims, even after they are blessed enough to get out." And we chose this quote because poverty is so much more than just your state of living or your wealth status or how much money you have. Is really about your mindset and how you carry yourself. You could have no money in your pockets, but you could have a rich man's mindset and you could slowly but surely become successful and rich within yourself. But having that poverty mindset, you can have all the money in the world and you could still just think of yourself as less than and just not enough, and that this money is not adequate enough and things like that. Just really putting yourself down and having a terrible outlook on yourself. So with these things, these are often passed through generations within the Black community, that we are less than, that we are not enough. And then we see instances of people who get lump sums of money and are able to make it out of the projects or a bad community and bad environment. And then they still are experiencing these issues within themselves about self-worth and just continue to have this poverty mindset. And passing that on to your children's and your children's children is just not helpful. So today we're definitely going to talk about how to break this mindset and how to just continue on with getting through and breaking those generational curses and that generational trauma. So to attack our visual learners tonight, these just the first of many, but I want y'all to be active in the chat and tell me some comparisons y'all see in between these two pictures right here. This is my favorite thing to always put in presentations, especially about the Black community. So I want y'all to really dig deep and take some time, about 30 to 45 seconds, to come up with maybe one word or quick sentence about these two pictures. You can describe either one or know the comparison. I just want y'all to speak from the heart about what y'all see when y'all first see these two pictures. A broken house.
I know when Gemma first put this in here, I was like, dang, Gemma, you ain't had to hit him that hard. Like these pictures, like, I ain't even know that. You teaching me? I thought we supposed to be working together. You hit me with the knowledge.
Yes. So I see Sean said a broken house, and I haven't heard anybody say that yet, as far as the descriptions of the places. Somebody said both are slums for Black communities. I haven't heard that either. Okay, y'all coming with the heat. Trauma, run down, the projects. Yo, y'all is really coming tonight. The projects, generational trauma, and I think about gentrification. Yes, we love it, Cam. Yes, y'all. So thank y'all for being active in the chat. Projects. Yes, y'all is all right. Y'all hitting it right on the nose. Jamira, you taking the words out my mouth. Yes. So on the left, the black and white picture is a picture of slave quarters, and on the right is a picture of the projects here in Baltimore City. And like Jamira said, to me, it's always been a modern day form of enslavement, keeping us in concentrated areas of poverty. It's just another form of generational trauma, just in our living situations. So moving on and sticking with that topic, we're going to talk about generational trauma, and specifically, I'm going to tell y'all about today race-based traumatic stress. And race-based traumatic stress is when it's comparable to post-traumatic stress. Let me do this first. And post-traumatic stress is usually seen within people who are in the army and they go across the country or across seas, and they are in wars and they see people die and they hear these gunshots and these terrible bombings and things like that. And that when they come home, they are sometimes a lot more sensitive to loud noises, sudden movements, or fireworks and things like that. But with race-based traumatic stress is when you're sensitive to those things that have everything to do with racism and discrimination, because you've been discriminated against, or you've seen things on TV, such as watching shows about slavery or movies and shows that consist of racism and discrimination over and over again. Even if you're young or old, just seeing those things can definitely traumatize you and can just provide you with such a negative outlook on either yourself and your people or just racism in general. And it really causes a psychological trauma within yourself. And we definitely wanted to highlight one of those things today, because I didn't even notice that it was within myself that I had a psychological trauma and was experiencing race-based traumatic stress, because I've seen racism within my community and on TV and things like that, and it's traumatized me. I've incorporated racism as a norm because I constantly see it on social media. So seeing somebody being harassed and beaten up by a police officer is not surprising to me. It's something that's grinded into my normal life and my habits and what I see daily. So it's not surprising. So things like this can really have a huge stressor on your mental, and it's important that we recognize that.
Yes, Gemma, I agree. And if you don't know, everyone in here has experienced some form of race-based traumatic stress. Just seeing George Floyd on social media constantly, every day people reposting a video of him being held down is traumatizing for everyone. And honestly, it was very like wow, like I can't believe this is happening. And even though this is happening, it's still been questioned whether he was murdered or not. Everyone has experienced this, and it is definitely something that we need to heal together from. So another form of race-based traumatic stress is post-traumatic slave syndrome. So if you don't know what this is behaviors developed from traumatic experiences based off of race. So things like that are still done today that is not, known because it's been passed down from generation through generation. So things like degrading the child to protect them, which was done in slavery when slaves were about to be sold, like, maybe a child of a family member or something. And when you're about to get sold in slavery, they check your quality. They check the teeth, they check the skin, the hair to see how much they're worth, whether the woman is a virgin or not, things like that to see how much they can get sold off for. And, the close relative or whoever they were related to would try to keep them away from that. And that's kind of the same thing that's displayed here. I don't know if you've ever, this is a good example. Say you're at a talent show and you're watching your kid and you they're doing good, you're clapping for them and you're like, wow, they're doing very well. But a parent sitting next to you might say, hey, is that your kid? Like, they're doing very well. And you say, well, yeah, they're cool, they're pain in the butt, but they're all right. That's a coping mechanism that has been done from slavery and from that's a coping mechanism that has been done from past then that has still been passed down from us. And we don't know that that's what it's from. That's why we need to come and get educated to know what that is. Secondly, normalizing things painted by the government. Things such as popping your child in the mouth when they're speaking out of place, which was done from slavery when the masters had access to put their hands on the child of slaves. And, it was very common. So, in order to keep the child of the slaves from being traumatized or abused any further, the parent of the child would, keep them in place. So all of this is still done today. And, we just think it's very known because it was done to us. Our child, our mother's mother, our mother passed it down to our mother. Now our mother's passing it down to us, and we will never know.
Yes, thank you, Sid, for the lesson. Always love Sid lessons. So without further ado, we're going to get into the long-term effects of slavery. And here I just have a diagram that we like to use just to kind of separate everything and show how it all really comes from slavery. So first, we're going to start on the left side with Jim Crow and oppressive policies. After slavery, when African Americans were declared as free and independent people, they had Jim Crow and oppressive policies put in place to make sure that they were still restricting the Black community and that we couldn't do the simplest of things, like Sydney mentioned before, with Black codes, such as walking on the wrong side of the street or drinking from a certain water fountain or maybe whistling at a white woman. Things like that could all get you arrested. And with the simplest things like this getting you arrested, it calls for mass incarceration. And with mass incarceration, it leads to a lot of course, single parent homes, had forcing mothers to take their children and probably migrate to other areas that were more affordable for them because they didn't have the man of the house supporting them anymore, just didn't have that extra support of their spouse bringing in the extra money because times were already hard. People were just getting out of slavery, trying to find their way back on their feet, and things were just a huge struggle with incarceration, protests, and just so many other things going on. You having to worry about your basic rights and then trying to find somewhere to eat and live is just hard enough. So it of course calls for these concentrated areas of low-income families, which are majority of these areas of course, majority of the population is African American, but we come in these communities together, just like how you say within the projects and the slave quarters, all of us having to be together and the government forcing us into these concentrated areas. And moving on to the right side, Sid talked about this a little bit. No, she talked about this a lot before in the previous slides about post-traumatic slave syndrome and just oppressing government in general. It all, of course, post-traumatic slave syndrome came after slavery. The people were still traumatized and still dealing with the things that they experienced from the government oppressing them beforehand. So trying to get over that, they never really had any space or support from the government to genuinely heal and not to get over slavery, but to actually heal from it and understand what they went through and how to heal from it together as a group. And from that, we of course develop a distrust within the police systems, the education systems, and the healthcare system. Within police, for sure, I know what has increased specifically, personally, my distrust within them is knowing that they were originally slave catchers, that police were originally made to catch enslaved people and return them back to their owners. Things like that, knowing that the people that are who are supposed to protect me now originally originated from catching enslaved people who look like me and returning them back to the heinous people who owned them is really traumatizing just itself, and it's disturbing to even know that that's what it stemmed from. And here instances within the healthcare system, such as the Tuskegee experiment, where a group of black men were experimented on by another group of white men, and they were being told that they were receiving free healthcare when they were actually being used for their bodies for experiments and curing diseases that they didn't even know about, and they were being fooled, saying that, oh, we're providing y'all with free healthcare, when in all actuality it wasn't that. Instances learning about Ruby Bridges in school, how she was one of the only black students going to her all-white school, and when her first day there, it was crowds of grown people out there spitting on her, throwing slurs at her, and just calling her so many other names, knowing that that's what our government just allowed to happen, and that it took us so long to fight to get schools integrated, and that schools are still not up to par in black communities. Poly still doesn't have any air conditioning in all of the rooms. We still work in hot classrooms. We're still forced to eat at this terrible times, working through 7 hours of the day on empty stomachs, really, because the food is not good. Half the students don't even eat it. So it's just like things like this that we see within the systems that we had to live through, and we're just put through the worst and accepted to it's okay, live through it, you'll be fine, you'll get through it, y'all strong. And going on to strong, there's always been this stereotype that black people are just indestructible, which is why we had this lack of care for mental illnesses and general well-being. My mother, she was hit by a car on Security Boulevard, and I was with her, and she was like terribly hurt. Like her feet was broke, and toes and everything else you could think that could be fractured or broken was wrong within her feet. And when she got hit, and we called the ambulance, and she was like this close to refusing help from the ambulance, and it was traumatizing. I didn't really realize where it was coming from until I gotten higher and learned about mental illnesses and just the lack of care that black people have for their general well-being, and how much we prioritize other things before our health. And it really opened my eyes up a lot, because my mother was more focused on getting us shoes for school and pencils and paper rather than her going to the hospital because both her feet were broken and she literally couldn't even walk. So things like this are things that we see every day in our community, of us neglecting care from the ambulance or going to the hospital when we're sick, and things like that that we really need to take into account, because it all really comes from us not having those opportunities and those resources of healthcare and dental care and eyeglass care and all those other types of things. So that's all the things that we need to take into account when thinking about our history. But now we're going to move on into the outcomes of systematic trauma, poverty, and racism.
So I'm just going to let you know this. 1 out of 10 African-American kids are diagnosed with ADHD. But did you know that we are often overly diagnosed with ADHD? Because when they see a black child walking around and they're extra fidgety or extra talkative, they are so easy and, ready to say, oh, that person got ADHD. But really it's a response to trauma. I know it's easy to show similar symptoms of ADHD and trauma because they go hand in hand in a sense. Certain things that have happened since, like adverse childhood experiences that are uncontrollable. If you don't know what that is, that's traumatic experiences experienced before the age of 18, such as incarcerated family members, emotional, physical, mental abuse, all of those things that can have an impact on one's functioning and ability to go on throughout their day. So other things that you could be aware of when it comes to, people who you see with symptoms of depression, it could be from substance use during pregnancy, trauma, unstable household, you never know. So that's why it is very, essential to become educated about this topic. And because of all of this, because of the things that they have put us through, the red line, the lack of resources and opportunities, I know y'all know that it is a lot of African-American communities where we are put at, where there are more corner stores than grocery stores, so we're more susceptible to certain illnesses, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, things like that. And it's become normalized to us in our culture. We do celebrations such as for birthdays and weddings and baby showers where we get all the most unhealthy foods, all the pork chops, all the chicken, everything, and say, oh, let's celebrate this life of this person, or let's do this, let's bring this together. This is a good time to come and eat, when really we're really poisoning ourselves. You know, we're not educated enough, because this is what was taught down from us, from our moms, from your mother to you, from you to your kids. So things like this is what we need to become educated about. We're more susceptible to become witnesses or victims of homicides, which are leading cause of death from ages 15 to 24. When I found this out, this really hit me hard, because, you know, it hit close to home for me, because my brother was a victim of homicide in 2015. He was 21 years old and he was shot. So he's no longer here with me. He's another statistic. You know, we're more susceptible, like Gemma said, to have fewer resources and opportunities in school. They put us in a hot school building for 8 hours and expect us to be very successful and get all these good grades and things like that. And also give us these nasty lunches and expect us to be, you know, an academic student and go to these clubs and get involved with things outside of school. This is how they want us to reach our versions of success. Tell me if that makes sense. And of course, we all know that we're more susceptible to be negatively stereotyped. We know about Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ma'Khia Bryant. The list goes on and on. This is why it is important to become educated.
Extremely. Thank you, Sid, for sharing. Of course, always love when you share and talk. So we're gonna take not even a break. We just gonna check in with y'all, see where y'all at as far as the presentation. I'm looking into the chat. I see that y'all active and that y'all paying attention. Don't really see if anybody is lost, but if you are and you have questions about any of the slides that we have previously presented before the check-in, let us know now if you have any questions so we can answer them, or you can save them for the end because we will have time for questions. But right now, I just want y'all to drop one word in the chat about how y'all feeling right now, and then we're going to continue on with the presentation. I just want y'all tell me how y'all doing. Thank you for the comments. Thank you. I love that y'all so active in the chat. Provides a lot of reassurance. Naeem said he feeling awesome.
Yeah, I'm really appreciating all the support, all the interaction. I'm seeing every last comment. Thank you for everyone who is replying.
Yes, and again, just thank y'all for coming out, blessed, inspired, enlightened. Yes, thank you. So without holding y'all even more, we're going to move on to our next part of the presentation, and we're going to open up with this picture. So here we go again with the descriptions. I want y'all to keep y'all fingers on the keyboard and tell me what y'all see in this picture. I want y'all to point out something that y'all see. It could be anything. It could be the color of the picture, but just point it out and let me know, and then I'll explain the picture more in detail from my point of view.
Let's read some of these comments. Someone said they've seen this before.
Okay, tell us what you think about it. I'm ready to hear them opinions. And Sean, I know you got a lot to say.
I'm very excited. I already know what I got to say. So Raquel, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, said that the Black product is locked up because they assumed that Black people would steal it. Bree said the Black man is the only one in the case. Camry said Black Joy is locked up in a box. Yep.
I like that. Not that I like it like in the sense of, like, but like I like what you said. Like I haven't heard anybody say that. But yes, to get into this picture, as you can see, the only African American beard dye that is up there with an African American male representative is locked in a box, enforcing just a stereotype that only Black people steal or only we commit crimes, and just definitely singling us out as a people and just really providing bad representation. So we're going to do another one of these pictures that Sid's going to talk to y'all about, and then we almost finished.
So what do y'all notice about this one? Same concept, but I want to hear what else y'all got to say. Let's see these comments. Somebody said, I think it is messed up that you can make a product for Black people, then lock it up.
That's the Sean. That's my JSA people.
Yeah.
I love y'all. They so boisterous. Just another group of young people who just always willing to voice their opinions and things like that. But yes, the same instance is with this picture. The darker shades of makeup have have these security tags on there, and it's just enforcing again the stereotype that only Black people steal or people of a darker shade steal. And you, as you can see to the right of it, the lighter shades don't have the security tags, just enforcing more oppressiveness and just saying things like this, especially in the stores that are around my neighborhood. It just really resonates with me that the America is exactly what everything that we are saying in this presentation. It needs change, and we definitely need change within the stores starting off first, within the systems, within the government, and within the people who are making these policies and are allowing these things to happen.
And also, I just wanted to mention that before I seen this post floating around on Instagram, because this was very recent, people just started reposting this. I never paid it any mind. Like when I go to my hair stores, my local Walmart to get my hair products and stuff as a Black girl, most of my stuff is locked away. And sometimes I don't know if you've ever seen like the shelves where if you like lift it up, it makes the alarm sound until you close it back. Like you gotta have to get your stuff and close it. So like everybody around you know that you're taking some off the shelf. I never paid that any mind. Like that's always been the normal to me. So now that I seen this, it definitely brought the awareness to me. So I hope it did the same for y'all.
Yes. And we're going to read this quote to y'all next real quick. Oh, not a quote. I'm sorry. I got the slides mixed up. But our mental health. So we're going to go through this really quick. So depression is a mental health illness, and it's when you experience changes in behavior as well as feelings of sadness, or what we learned from Sydney earlier in the presentation, anger, and you experience those feelings for more than 2 weeks, as well as the changes in behavior. You might drop out of club in school or stop talking to your friends as much, involve yourself in activities that are negative, such as smoking or drinking, and just doing things that you wouldn't normally do, and are really a drastic change in your behavior. But depression within the African American community is just so different. And I think it's so different with every mental illness for the people in the Black community. And it's because our depression and problems really stem from the history that we have with this country, because of the racism and the oppression that we feel every day of our lives, and just carrying this burden that they make it seem like as it is to be Black in America, carrying that burden on us every day. It really does cause these things such as depression. And I know definitely within myself that I experienced depression, but mine was through a form of anger. So constantly throughout school, I was labeled as the angry girl running around who wanted to fight everybody, when in actuality, it was a cry for help. So things like this, depression is caused because we feel overpowered, or we feel useless, and no sense of success or promise for our future, and that we had to work 10 times harder and 100 times harder for everything in life that we want. So knowing things like this cause for a lot more mental illnesses within the Black community. And next, we're going to move on.
So this is a quote that really stood out to me, and it really changed my mindset. And I'm sure it would do the same for y'all. So it says, "It's not what's wrong with you, but what's happened to you." And this is from Mr. Richard Rowe. And, this comes up to the stigma around mental health. And I'm not going to lie, I was part of the problem. I see somebody walking down the street that looks differently than me or is acting differently than me, and I will automatically say to myself, or point to somebody, say, what's wrong with them? But, you don't know what's wrong with them. You don't know that girl is acting out of place in school because she's being molested at home, or she's being assaulted at home, or emotionally abused, anything like that. We don't know that quiet boy in school, that weird boy in school, has no parents at home. We don't know what people are going through. So instead of having that, or what's wrong with their mindset, let's change it into what happened to them. It's time to start having conversations. Is there anything I can help with? What's going on? Things like that will change. And, I believe that's the lead to healing together, honestly. Changing that mindset. That's the first step right there. Having that conversation.
It definitely is. I wish somebody looked a little bit more into my reason while I was acting out. Then I think that would have helped a lot more. But I'm here who I am today because of those things. But we're definitely going to move on into our solutions next, y'all. So our solutions for the day are I really hope that they get to y'all and that y'all put them and use them in y'all everyday life. So first, we're going to start off with healing individually. Healing is a process, but this is the individual healing process. And first off, we definitely want to say that presentations like this with education and gaining awareness and things like that all help in the process of healing yourself. knowing more about your past and what the people who look like you have been through and fought for is highly important on how you move forward in toward the change toward this country. So gaining that education and awareness, attending presentations like this, staying connected with organizations who are truly making a change within this country is extremely important, as well as be real with yourself and get professional help. It's a stigma within the mental health uh path that you can just be declared as crazy if you go see a therapist or you go seek help from somebody who is certified in the mental health field. So that thing is not true. You will not be declared crazy if you go see a therapist. You can go see a therapist even if there is nothing necessarily wrong with you or you don't have any mental illnesses. Just talking about your problems or your stress really does help relieve it, and it does feel comforting to know that you can always contact your therapist or someone who is like your therapist and express your emotions and how you feel to that person. It's always important to just have that support system.
And also create your own truth. Like I say this all the time because I know a lot of people, we sitting here offering solutions like, oh yeah, this is what you can do. But if it's not in you to really do it, don't do it. I tell people all this all the time. I'm not an activist. I'm not walking down the street with billboards and signs saying, Black Lives Matter, but I know that's what I believe in. If I might be behind the scenes, this is my work right here, being educated and teaching others about it. I'm not out here doing too much, but I'm doing what I believe that is my truth. So do what's your truth. Next thing, attacking all your senses is something that I learned from someone named Dr. Howard, and this has stuck with me since then. I didn't even know I was doing that initially, but I'm going to share with y'all. So attacking all your senses is a way of healing because it connects to the things that are truly wrong with you. He said something like, oh, when we're sad, we listen to sad music, hoping that we're going to feel better. When our reality is like, why would you do that? Listen to some upbeat music. You feeling stressed from your long day? Put some lavender oils on your air diffuser. Oh, you feel like you're hungry? Instead of going to eating the unhealthy foods like I talked about earlier, which is why Black people are more susceptible to high cholesterol and diabetes, why don't you get you some chia seeds and get you a nice little bowl of fruit and stuff like that that'll put, more energy into your body. I know me, I have my hobbies that I feel like attacks all my senses. Like sometimes I like to paint and sit outside or just being aware and present of what's going on around you, because it is very easy to get caught up in your everyday life and things that you feel like you have to do. And I feel like just taking care of yourself is very essential. We often view self-care as an incentive rather than a necessity. We think we need to earn a break when really it's like we need a break. You need to sit everything down aside every now and then and be like, all right, what's good? Like, let me go check on my parents. Let me check on myself. Like, we out here doing the work and helping everybody else. It's time to pour that same energy into yourself. And next thing, be what you say you are. Be true to yourself. And this goes back to walking your talk. If you're not out here, doing what you telling people to do, then it's like, how are people going to take you seriously? If you're not an activist, that's fine, but if you would rather be in the background, like I said, making them calls or doing your research before you feel comfortable speaking out on that, you do that. It's all within you. It starts with you.
And next, we're going to be talking about healing together. So we want to touch on healing centered engagement, of course, because it's the best thing that you can do to heal together as a people. And healing centered engagement is a completely political approach to healing. It addresses the systems and the things that constantly constantly traumatize us and provide us with just nothing but negative and nothing positive that we can use to really heal from, or that can support us in our journey towards healing. So within healing centered engagement, it makes sure that it attacks the education system, the healthcare system, and the government that is constantly providing us with that recurrent trauma. And it promotes a collective approach to healing and groupness and togetherness, healing within the whole community, not just individually. And it's the opposite of trauma-informed care, where you're only addressing your trauma and your experiences. But with healing-centered engagement, you address all the experiences that y'all experienced as a whole and the things that y'all experienced together, like the George Floyd incident. We all experienced that together. And the only way that we can correctly heal from it is if we share how we feel. Like right here in this space, we share how we feel about certain situations together, and we take everybody's experiences and opinions and put it all in one bowl and make sure that we're addressing everybody's issues, because if only one person out of the Black community is fully healed, then they leave the rest to the wind, and it's kind of purposeless in that journey of healing. Of course, take your time to yourself and all that you need and heal from your individual traumas, but most of the traumas that we experience in our everyday life as being a part of the Black community is traumas that we all experience. So making sure that you're reaching out to your neighbors and addressing all forms of trauma within your community is truly important. And last but not least, we just want to say thank you, and we're open to any questions and feedback. Again, my name is Gemma Chester from the Healing Youth Alliance.
And my name is
Sydney
Johnson, and it was such a pleasure presenting to you guys tonight. This is the Mental Health Crisis Hotline. Please take it if needed. You never know what anybody around you may be going through. Just share it. Thank you again. And we're taking any questions, if anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Now, the show will go on in a few minutes. Everybody will be back at home base, but until then, we're going to answer your questions. Jamira said, what do you think that the Black community needs to do moving forward? I honestly, personally think that we need to work within our own community and first come together and get everybody on one level and one understanding of what the goal is as a people, and that it's not to attack each other, and that our purpose as a people is bigger than just ourselves, and that we have to really move forward as a people together to combat the things that are constantly traumatizing us.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on to that. I also believe that starting with the Black community, first of all, we need to, recognize that mental health is real, because if you don't know, there are people out here that believe that mental health doesn't exist. Like, I know that we were told one time that someone's family member told them that their cousin was crazy because they drank some punch at a party one time. So that person that was told that growing up never drunk any punch anytime he went to a party, because that's what his parents told him. But really it was that his family member was showing signs of schizophrenia and other mental health issues, because they just believe that that thing doesn't exist or it's not real. So I definitely think we should definitely bring awareness and just accept that mental health is a thing. We're not just making it up. People don't just make up depression.
Right, but we're going to try and get to all your questions. I'm looking at my phone now to see the questions because on the screen it moves too fast. But Dr. K said, how do you think that youth can help other people heal? Well, she already know the answer to this. The Healing Youth Alliance, Heart Smiles, organizations such as JSA, where we learn from professionals who are willing to teach us about the true history of the Black community and the things that we experienced in the past. Making sure that we get the education that we need is truly important, and learning from those professionals and allowing us to talk to people who are higher up and more farther into their life and career is really inspiring. And not only to those, teaching them about our experiences that we experience here in Baltimore City and with our mental health problems, but just talking to other youth and them saying us present right here on these platforms is inspiring itself to those. And it just encourages those who are our age and those who are older that change is coming and that we are working towards it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jim. And also, I think spreading word of mouth, like especially on the platforms that youth are most active on, like Instagram and things like that. I know a lot of us post like a lot of unrelated things just to post, but if we become more intentional with the things we share, then I really think it would bring some awareness to the people that's around our age.
Yeah, so Jamira said, what can we do as a community to break generational curses because we are so separated? How can we unify? So I know it's a hard question for me to answer because I don't know the answer to it, but I think it really all starts within each and every individual home, with parents just being a lot more open and being willing to talk to their children about things that they may have done and how they want to change that, and just children being open with their parents about things that they don't like that their parents do that were maybe motivated by things that were passed down through generations, and how they can break those generational curses together as a family within each individual home is important. And I think learning that, like, oh, my cousin and them did that, learning that they broke those generational curses, passing it on to family and family, like Sydney said, just word of mouth and different platforms, doing things like that are really getting the word out so people can change.
Yeah, and then to add on, this is like the first step. Everybody that's in here has already made the first step to breaking these generational curses. Everybody has just become more educated. You have just learned some of the things that were done from traumatic experiences and slavery and things. So now take that into account when making your decisions later on in life or in the present. So I think this is definitely like your first step. This was right here.
Right. And Truth to Power said, you said healing engagement is political. What kind of policies do you think could support this? I think healing assisted engagement, that healing approach should be implemented into schools, and it should become worldwide known to all Black people and should be accessible for all Black people, for us to connect and really come together and talk about our experiences and heal from those experiences together, and organize more groups like Heart Smiles and Healing Youth Alliance within the youth, book clubs, debate, more marches, more protests, just more things together that we can do that are organized by us, for us, and are done by us is important. So having those policies where we can learn about the things that we presented in this presentation today is important. Learning about these things about slavery in school would be so helpful. If my little sister, if she learned about this right now in school, she would probably grow up 10 times better, because she knows that certain things that people do, or certain things that she has experienced or seen, is because of the history of African Americans, and her knowing that could just better her path onto life and could help her avoid things that she already learned about in school, because she was already taught about it. She don't have to go through race-based traumatic stress, because she knows how to ground herself and live in her truth, and how to heal from traumatic experiences and things like that. So I definitely think implementing healing-centered engagement approaches and providing Black youth with healthcare and just more support with their mental illnesses and problems that we experience every day in life is truly important.
And I want to read Mr. Richard Rowe comment. He said that healing centered and get. Oh, the comment went down. Jim, you see that? Because he's okay. So basically, healing centered engagement attacks like the toxic policies that were set in place. I don't know if you remember from earlier when we were talking about how school has like, these lunches and things that doesn't help us be successful throughout the day. I don't know if you ever heard of the school to prison pipeline, especially for our young Black males. Like things like that is what healing centered engagement is focused on, like more so the political thing rather than trauma informed care, which is like more so therapy, one-on-one sessions and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody in the comments though. Jimmy, you got people quote you saying living your truth. Like that's what I'm talking about.
There was one question that I wanted to answer, and it was, I don't know if I'm gonna say your name wrong or right, but I think it's Deborah, and it says, how can we get the youth politically involved to change policies for mental health services? And I definitely think it starts with having more youth-led things like this. We created these PowerPoints ourselves. Of course, we got the information from the wonderful professionals that we work with, but we made these presentations. We decided what we wanted to present on and what we were passionate about. So having more things that are youth-led, and when I mean youth-led, it's youth-led as in the youth is doing all the work. The youth are on the flyers. The youth are promoting to other youth to get more youth out to learn about the things that the youth are speaking about. Like youth is in every sentence that has to do with that situation is important, because if it's just one youth at that board or at that organization that's giving in their input, and it truly doesn't capture all the opinions of youth or all the experiences and things that we go through. So I definitely think that if you're going to have one youth a part of something, that you have more than just one youth, that it's a whole team behind that youth that's supporting that youth, that is a representative, if it is going to be that you're making sure that you're reaching out to youth about these opportunities that are exposed to them, and just generally making sure that you are attacking all of the youth, that you are reaching all of them, and that if there's anything that is youth led, that it's completely youth led, not like halfway and just have the youth just gave input and just gave feedback. No, the youth should be leading it. If the youth had any type of opinion or outlook or say in the event that's going on. So I think that's one of the things that's important.
Yeah, I know we always say, who's better to have at the conversations that's been decisions made about the youth than the youth. Like, we need to be a part of the conversations. And also, like, me personally, I know it's very inspiring to be watching someone that's around my age talk about things like this. Like, of course, we see adults talk about it all the time, and teachers and parents, they always trying to drill it in your head and things like that. But when you see somebody that looks like you, your skin color, your age, your same grade, it's like, okay, hold on, what they talking about? I can get educated from this. They talking to some talk I can understand. So when you hear come from someone like that you can relate to, I think that's something very different. That's very intentional.
I think Jamira just dropped a comment. She said, "What do you think we need to come together as a community because we are so divided? Like, how can we heal each other if we lost our foundation?" I think just reaching out to each individual one at a time is important. Reaching out to your peers and healing the people that you are closest around is the first thing that we can do, and a step towards just healing each other. So healing those people in your community, starting more organizations where people can come out and talk about their experiences and really just get to know those people who they are surrounded by, and then heal together is a start to bringing in a community that doesn't have any foundation. It has to be that Miss Joni of the community, or that Dr. K, that Jamira, that Sydney, that Dante, who reaches out there and gets people from the community who have the same thoughts as him, and he promotes this healing centered engagement approach, and he gets a space in the school where the students can come, the young people can come, the old people can come, the middle-aged people can come, and everybody is just experiencing these good times together. Providing a safe space for people is also important too, right? Them elders, all those people, get them out and just bring them together to start. You have to start a foundation to get one, and I think a sturdy foundation is one that you need to the path to healing.
Definitely, Jim. You took the words right out my mouth. Like, I'm not even going to lie, but I see this comment that Dante left that says, "What kind of words would you have for the younger youth in their ages of 12 plus that saw trauma and can't express it?" And I'm gonna keep it simple. Like, you're not alone, honestly. Like, it's very normal to not be able to process or express what it is that you have been through. I know me personally. Like I said early in the presentation, I lost my brother in 2015. He was 21, and it's kind of like I thought I was okay, and it's been about 5 years now, and sometimes I'd be like wow, like, hold on, like, my brother is really gone. Like, that was processing, it's kicking in now. I didn't know how to feel back then. So if you don't know how to like process your trauma, or you just rather so ignoring it and don't know how to put it in words, just know that like there are spaces out here like this that you can come to and talk to. And like Gemma said earlier in our call to action, seeking professional help. Like, it's so many things out here that you can get into.
Definitely, and I'm just going to touch on that real quick. I know y'all can see the paintings behind me. I painted all of these, and that's my way of like expressing my emotions when I don't know how to word it. So I would definitely say find something that you're passionate about, for as like an activity or a hobby that's positive, of course, that you can do to kind of express your emotions without taking it out in the wrong way, such as anger or violence, that will help you, digest your emotions. But before y'all go, we definitely want y'all to click that satisfaction survey link in the chat. That Heart Smiles just dropped, and when you click the link, give some feedback, of course, and you can also fill out the link if you're interested in having me and Sydney or any of the other wonderful Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors come and present to youth, or you want us to come to an event and just talk and present, anything like that. You can always find our socials at Healing Youth Alliance, and just click the satisfaction survey link and fill that out for us. And again, just thank y'all for coming out. Don't forget to click the survey satisfaction link. And other than that, thank y'all for sticking with us throughout this presentation. I appreciate y'all for spending y'all time with us. Thank you.
Have a great night.
That was awesome. Y'all can hear me, right? That was awesome. For real.
And welcome back, you guys, and thank you all for.
Did you cut out? Okay. Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the main session, and that was displayed here. And I just wanted to say, I apologize for the technical difficulties on my side, but we will actually keep this rolling. And yeah, I can't wait to actually see what we got stored now. As you as they say like Gemma Sydney and Gemma said, please complete the satisfaction survey, and we want you to, and it's in the chat box as well. This was also help us get the word out about the great presentations you heard tonight. And not only that, you can also request a presentation by the Helen Youth Alliance by completing the survey at the same link. Y'all can hear me? And I just want to actually give a thank you to y'all. And this is how you can actually contact us. Our Instagram is Helen Youth Alliance, and our Facebook page is Helen Youth Alliance, and the email is HelenYouthAlliance@gmail.com. And thank you actually sitting throughout this presentation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Naeem. This was such a great event. I really appreciate you guys for carrying this. And y'all, this is what youth handling their business looks like. So thank you guys so much for showing them love. Make sure that y'all complete the survey. They got the links in there for y'all. Let them know how y'all felt about what they did tonight. I think we got Miss Jamira back here. Jamira, you back?
Yes. Oh my goodness. What happened? What happened? I'm so sorry about that.
Congratulations. No, it's okay, man. Look, when you're doing great and powerful things like this is how it happens. You always got issues and stuff like that, but y'all worked every single issue that came your way. So I just appreciate y'all for being flexible and carrying this. So I'm gonna let y'all get ready, close it out.
I just want to thank you all again so much for joining us today. It was an amazing conference. I got to witness all the wisdom and the powerful words that were given today from Sydney Johnson and Gemma Chester. You all are both so amazing, and I'm looking forward to the work that you do in the future. Thank you all so much, ladies. And I know that each and every Healing Youth Alliance ambassador today killed it in each and every room. And I want to thank you all so much. You all are so amazing, and the work that you put in, it has shown through each presentation. And thank you so much. And please remember to complete those surveys. I can see James just put it in the chat to complete those satisfaction surveys, because that's how you will be able to interact with the Healing Youth Alliance in the future. And I know that you all loved it so much today that you would like to see more of us in the future. So contact us on Instagram and Facebook at the Healing Youth Alliance, and email at the Healing Youth Alliance. And I know Cameron Moses has already put it in the chat at the Healing Youth Alliance on Instagram and at the Healing Youth Alliance on Facebook. And again, I just want to say congratulations to the Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors of Cohort 2. You all are officially Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors, and I'm so excited to see the amazing work that you all will be doing in the community. So if you all love what you saw today, please fill out those surveys and get in and just work with the Healing Youth Alliance, and always be on the lookout for the amazing things we have coming. Naeem, do you got any special words for us today?
I do. Well, I actually want to give you, I actually want to thank everyone to come here tonight and actually bear with me, even though we had some tech issues in the beginning. But I will ensure you, this won't ever happen again. Trust me, it won't on my end. But congratulations the Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors, and shout out to Cohort 2, and shout out to Sydney Johnson and Jim Chester. I learned a lot today. I learned a lot. So y'all did that for real. So y'all inspired me.
And thank you so much to Naeem, because if you all don't know, Naeem Adams has been a huge support system for the Healing Youth Alliance. He is also a Cohort 2 Healing Youth Alliance ambassador. And I want to see that smile, Naeem. Can you give us a nice smile? Because if we didn't have you as a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador, many of our Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors of the Cohort 2 would not been able to get up today, because your positive energy each and every day just makes us want to just do so much more. And I want to say thank you all so much to you, Naeem, for your positive energy, because with mental health, it's always important to surround yourself with amazing and positive people, and that's how you, like Sydney said today, attack your senses. So thank you so much, Naeem, for being that positive energy in Cohort 2 and working with us all in the 24 weeks of becoming a Healing Youth Alliance ambassador. Thank you all so much. And I see Mr. Richard Rowe in the comments. Thank you so much to Mr. Richard Rowe. I saw that Sydney and Gemma gave us like one of your famous quotes today. And thank you all. Thank you so much for your constant leadership and your constant skill set that you bring to the Healing Youth Alliance. And I see everyone in the comment just giving so much appreciation. I want to say thank you all so much, and have an amazing night. And remember to complete the satisfaction survey in the chat. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Dr. K, Miss Joni, Miss Ariana. I see you in the comments, Miss Ursula, Miss Andy. Love you all so much. Our mentors are the reason why we're here today. Your support, it goes hard, and you go hard for us every single day. And we love you guys so much. Naeem, let's give a thank you to our Dr. K, because I don't think nobody gave her a thank you. I saw some in the chat, but Dr. K, I can't.
For real.
I'm not fine if I say thank you to Dr. K.
I got to. Actually, I got 2 thank yous. But first, I actually want to give a thank you to Dr. K for this awesome opportunity, because I remember, like, I didn't know what Healing Youth Alliance was until I reached out to Taylor, like the whole cohort 1, like you, y'all Elder, D. Arbor, everybody. And I just felt awesome. And my final thank you is to Jamila Queen. I'm my bad.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you because for holding it down, because it was a lot going on, and I ain't want to give up. And I'm glad I got a fantastic partner on my side at all times by any means necessary. So thank you, and thank everybody that's coming tonight and band with us.
Yes, thank you so much for those kind words, Naeem. And we're going to close it out for tonight. And remember to find us on Instagram. We're at the Healing Youth Alliance. Thank you all for joining us today. I know you all had an amazing time. I know I did. And I'm signing off. Thank you all. See you, Naeem. See you, everyone.
Hey, go be productive.
Of course, nothing less.
All right. Stuff.